Okay, I was just getting a little bit of glad tidings from Maha. Yes, good lessons. So I asked a question today. I asked over 173 people the exact same question, and I got one answer. Some guy talking shit to me about something. And I wasn't even really paying attention to what the fuck he was talking about. But all I asked was, where is ex-King Solomon's gold, and why don't you have it? Okay, that's just one simple question. Where is ex-King Solomon's gold, and why don't you have it? I asked about 200 people now. Okay, one smart guy answered the question, and he said it's in Britain. Okay, it says right here, it's in England and will be returned, thus saith Yah. Okay, so that was a smart answer. So I asked him for scripts on that, and he provided scripts and proved everything that came out of his mouth. So now, what I want to do in this program is start off by showing you where the gold is. I thought that would be interesting, since only one person had an idea of where it's at, but it was not wholly accurate. Got to excuse me for a second, my computer's running a little bit slow. Okay, so hopefully you got all that, but I'm gonna repeat it just in case, because my computer had froze up for a second there. Okay, so I asked, where is ex-King Solomon's gold, and why don't you have it? I got one answer from a smart guy. He said, it's in England and will be returned, thus saith Yah. His name is Micaiah Ben Israel. So he's been all over the world. He's been to Israel. He's been to Telluride, to the temple. You know, and I know he's a smart guy. So, you know, he's done a couple of documentaries about Telluride, and he keeps the commandments and all that good stuff. I don't know if he's Messianic or OT or not. I really don't care. But he answered. I asked him for scripts. He proved it with the scripts. So now, what I want to do is show more precisely, or kind of expand on what his answer. Okay. Since he was the only one that had a slight idea, and he's traveled all over the world, which proves you don't have to travel everywhere on Earth in order to be intelligent, because that's what the internet is designed to do. It's designed to allow you to travel everywhere on Earth, research and cross-reference and verify and peer review every bit of everything that's going on around the world. I can look at any newspaper on Earth. I can read it word for word. I can look at any business in any country on Earth. I mean, there's just, the internet is just designed to do these things. Okay, so let me show where Solomon's resources are. Okay, so it's in the bilateral minefield breakthrough successor agreement. Okay. All right, now the resources of King Solomon's gold see if I can make it bigger for you. They are located in these countries. Okay. The Philippines, New York, California, let's say the Philippines, USA, Hong Kong, China, Taiwan, Singapore, Switzerland, Argentina, Brazil, Germany, Europe, Asian countries, plural, Australia, Malaysia, Indonesia, United Kingdom, and others which, however, may be supported by the records papers instrument itself on file. Now, what does that tell you? Those countries sound real familiar, don't they? Those are the new trade agreement that Obama recently signed. Okay, I forget the name of it. It's PP or something like that. TPP trade deal. Okay, now the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Let's read this. Okay. Just be prepared. Have your nerd hat on and stop playing with yourself. Keep your hands clean. Let's share the right screen here. Okay. Now, all those countries that I just named are sitting right here in this photo. Who's in the middle? That would be Satan. Okay, you got it? That's Satan right here. His name means lightning fall from heaven. Jesus Christ said, I have seen Satan as lightning fall from heaven. And that is what his name means. He had a dream that he was Nebuchadnezzar. And that's who he is. Okay, these are the flags. America, Great Britain, whatever that is, whatever that is, whatever that is, whatever that is, Great Britain. I don't know these flags. Okay, so I'm going to have to read what they are. Okay, but these are the countries that I just named. Okay, those are the leaders of the countries. I apologize. Those are the leaders of the countries. So The Bible prophesies all this. That's great. Great news. I'm glad it does. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 world leaders. That's great. All right. Now you're getting the picture a little bit here. The Trans-Pacific Partnership is a proposed trade agreement between several Pacific Rim countries concerning a variety of matters of economic policy. Economic policy. That is the focus. Among other things, the TPP seeks to lower trade barriers such as tariffs, which are taxes on imports and exports, establish a common framework for intellectual property, enforce standards for labor law and environmental law. Okay, so there are standards in place for labor law and environmental law, which is, the environmental protection and labor abuses to prevent those, but they're not being enforced well. So that's an element of this agreement. And establish an investor state dispute settlement mechanism. Okay, an investor state dispute settlement. What is that? An investor state dispute settlement is an instrument of public international law that grants an investor the right to use dispute settlement proceedings against a foreign government. Provisions for ISDS are contained in a number of bilateral investment treaties and certain international trade treaties, such as the North American Free Trade Agreement, and in international investment agreements, such as the Energy Charter Treaty. If an investor from one country, the home state, invests in another country, the host state, both of which have agreed to ISDS, and the host state violates the rights granted to the investor under public international law, then that investor may bring the matter before an arbitral tribunal. Okay, so now that is to help us redress. Well, Satan doesn't know this, but this will help Israel redress ancient oppression. Okay. Now, the stated goal of the agreement is to enhance trade and investment among the TPP partner countries, to promote innovation, economic growth, and development, and to support the creation and retention of jobs. TPP is considered by the United States government as the companion agreement. The TTIP, the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, a broadly similar agreement between the United States and the European Union. Okay, so they already had that in place. So it's supposed to help it out by adding they didn't add more countries to the original agreement. They just made up another agreement with different countries and made it similar. Okay, so now I want you to see the countries here. Okay. Expansion of the Trans-Pacific Strategic Economic Partnership Agreement, which was signed by Brunei, Chile, Singapore, and New Zealand in 2006. Beginning in 2008, additional countries joined for a broader agreement. Australia, Canada, Japan, Malaysia, Mexico, Peru, and United States and Vietnam, bringing the total number of participating countries to 12. Okay. Now that you know this situation, I'm trying to find the countries right here. Contents, implications, intellectual property. I'm trying to ratification by the United States, criticism. Okay, criticism, negotiation, secrecy. Okay. Well, in any case, here we go. You got the countries, and I just spoke on these countries in the other communication. So, like I said, they the countries where the gold is is hidden in accounts and can't be touched right at the moment because they don't have the authority to use it by the Father, lest they die. So they're attempting to do something in order to get control of the resources, get control of the resources, so that they can use them. Okay, so that includes the BRICS, which I just read. BRICS is the acronym. BRICS is the acronym for an association of 5 major emerging national economies: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Okay, so Germany has recently joined, and the United States has recently joined the BRICS. Okay, so that's what they're doing. All these different countries are coming together. Okay, this is hilarious. The term BRIC was coined in 2001 by the chairman of Goldman Sachs Asset Management, Jim O'Neill, in his publication, Building Better Global Economic BRICS. The foreign ministers of the initial 4 BRIC states, Brazil, Russia, India, and China, met in New York City in September 2006 at the margins of the general debate of the UN General Assembly, beginning a series of high-level meetings. A full-scale diplomatic meeting was held in Ekaterinburg, Russia, on June 16, 2009. Okay, now the reason this is so hilarious is because Goldman Sachs is the #1 banking oppressor on the face of the planet, and they're owned by Jewisher communist Zionists who imagine that they are Israelites and God's chosen people, thus making them above all the peoples of the earth. And I really don't think that they know any different. I really think they really do believe that, because they've inherited lies all their life. So they have no reason to believe otherwise. They don't realize that they're the synagogue of Satan because the power structure made it to where they would not accept the New Testament, which calls them the synagogue of Satan. Okay, so I just wanted to show you all those things that the Solomon's resources are all over the world in various countries, and all these big trade agreements that are being snuck through under the radar of the public, because the public generally doesn't care anyway, so it doesn't matter. And also at the same time, the one world government is ordained by the Most High Father to happen. So bucking up against the New World Order is a death wish, and you're going to die, because the Father is going to kill you if you do too much damage to the success of the one world government. Because once the one world government is intact, then the Almighty will arrive. According to Revelations 1:8, let me show you who the Almighty is. Revelations 1:8. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, saith the Lord, which is, and which was, and which is to come, the Almighty. So this proves that Jesus is the Almighty, and I just use his name because it's so easy for y'all to remember that name. But his real name is Emmanuel Hamashiach of Nazareth, if you're curious and want to know deeper information. Okay. So now, where to next? I showed you where the goal was. I showed you what's happening. The TPP is causing, yeah, that's what I want to go over now. Okay. The TPP and the TTIP and all these other trade agreements, the NDAA, the NDAA, and all that other stuff that just recently happened. Okay, there's military things going on and economic things going on because there's a power shift happening where the Pope received had circumvented the power of China and Jose Rizal, who had recollected the wealth of Solomon's wealth. Okay, so when he recollected all of that, the Pope and the boys they went over there and took control of it. So they work hand in hand with the bank. Okay, so the bank, since the banks are holding the property, they basically own it. Okay, but the Pope, they eventually blocked out the Pope from getting to the gold as well. So now the bankers are the only ones who could use it if they could, but they don't have the power to because the Father doesn't allow them to use it because every time they try to get somewhere, they die. If they try to use a huge chunk of it. So what I want to go to now is the conversation that I had on Twitter with one of the witches that are rallying the troops of the global forces in order to take control of the gold and attempt to use it. And then once they attempt to use it, of course, it's going to be nothing but death and destruction going on for them. But you know, they learn very slowly, and they continue to attempt to try to circumvent the balance of Earth, which is that you have to restore Israel back to power. And see, they were seduced so long ago by the fake Israel, you see, and that's what messed everything up for them. The Zionists convinced them that they were Israel, and now they're confused. Okay, so they're trying to correct their mistake without a whole lot of attention being drawn to it. So that's why they're doing all the wars, and now they're isolating Israel and talking bad about Israel, saying they're the biggest human rights violators on earth. And that and Henry Kissinger said in 10 years Israel will no longer exist, and things like that. But I had a Twitter conversation with Karen Hughes. We just watched her in part 5, how she was talking about the gold and everything. So I asked her, what's your spiritual title? Because the Father utilizes certain people to get this gold together and to use it wisely. So since if you get it together and you don't use it wisely, then there will still be an imbalance in the earth, you know, with the weather, with human psyche, with animals, all out of whack, you know, birds dying and all that kind of stuff. Okay. So, but if you get all the gold together and use it wisely, then the earth rejoices, the ecosystem rejoices, the atmosphere rejoices, and the people rejoice. Okay, so I asked her what a spiritual title was, and of course she didn't know. So she responded by saying, "That's a profound question that cannot be answered in a tweet." Now, a title is nothing but about 4 or 5 words. So she wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 words that could have been answered in 4 or 5 words, because your title is just, it's nothing but about 4 or 5 words. It's like you would say something like, I am the spiritual Bathsheba, or I am the spiritual King David, I am the spiritual Solomon, I am the spiritual Moses, like that. So since she did not know her spiritual title, because has not been given one, because she's not supposed to be in control of or a gatekeeper to Solomon's gold, because she's not a relative of Solomon. Okay, so she just lucked up in the place because Jose Rizal, or whomever, trusted Wolfgang Struck to be the beneficiary of such a vast fortune, and he can't get access to it. So he wasn't. In order for you to get access to the resources, you have to be recognized by the Father, and there's no German on the face of the earth who was recognized by the Father, unless it might be 1% of Germans on earth. And I don't think he's in the 1%, because he's being blocked access to the gold and the other resources. You can't be blocked if the Father wants you to utilize his wealth. All doors will be open to you. Okay, so she can't get access to it either. Okay, so since she didn't know the answer to my question, and said that it would take longer than the tweet box to answer, I said, you want to do a Google Hangout? And she said, after the global currency reset, first things first. Okay, so I mean, that's where we are now, and she's kind of confident that they're not gonna murder everyone on earth, that they're just gonna murder people who fight back from relocation and re-education camps. Okay, so the Bible wisdom trains you not to resist the devil. Don't resist. Yeah, don't resist the forces when they come at you like that. Don't resist, because you're just gonna die. So that's retarded for people to be resisting and fighting back. You should have fought beforehand, so that they can't it didn't get this far. But it's all ordained anyway, so it really don't matter. But that's the way they decided to do it, kind of backwards. And everyone is ignoring this, probably because okay, the Father put a blindness on everyone in order to for the the prophecy to go ahead and go through like it's supposed to, which is we're supposed to go through Jacob's trouble and all that, and be shifted around, and go to our own place. But we're supposed to get ourselves out of this oppression. So I guess once we're piled up on top of each other, then we can speak to each other easier, and the prophecies will come out more. Because right now, at this moment, the Israelites, most Israelites, every Israelite I ever met is only performing the law. So by not performing the prophecies and prophesying what the Bible tells people to prophesy, then the events are not falling into place. Events only take place whenever prophesied according to the Bible and what it tells you to do. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a couple verses to prove that a couple of things here. Okay, I'm going to go to Jeremiah 49. Let you read with me too. Okay. Jeremiah 49. Concerning the Ammonites. I want to read this in English. I'm sorry, man. Those these and thous get on my nerves. Okay, Jeremiah 49. Now concerning the Ammonites, this is what the Eternal has to say. Long is the history between Ammon and Israel, and many are the conflicts between them. Okay. In Jeremiah's day, Ammonite raiders have taken land originally meant for Israel, specifically the tribe of Gad. Along with other nations, the Ammonites have conspired against Babylon. After the fall of Jerusalem, the king of Ammon hires the assassin Ishmael to kill Gedaliah at a pivotal moment in the relationship between Judah and Babylon. Time and again, this proud nation defies the God of Israel and his people. They put their trust in their God, Malcolm, and they find security in the mountainous region where they live. Eternal One says, does Israel have no sons? Is there no one to inherit the land I gave her? Is that why Ammon's god Malcolm has taken the land of Gad? Why would his people be living in her cities? I, the Eternal, tell you the days are coming when you will hear the shout of war raised against Rabbah, Ammon's capital. On that day, it will be reduced to a pile of ruins. Okay? And the villages surrounding the city will be burned. Then Israel will take back what was taken from her. See that? We'll be the ones doing it. Weep, O Heshbon, for the town of Ai is destroyed. Cry out, the cities, O cities of Rabbah. Put on sackcloth and mourn your losses. Run back and forth inside your city walls, because your so-called God, Malcolm, will be carried into exile along with his priests and officials. You boast of your abundant valleys, you faithless daughter, but they are fading away. You trusted in your own wealth and thought, who could ever attack me? Is what you say. Watch, I will surround you with terror. I, the eternal Lord, commander of heavenly armies, declare this. You will be driven out of the land in single file, with no one to keep your exiles together. But after this, there will come a day when I will restore the fortunes of the Ammonites. So says the Eternal. Okay. Here now is the oracle concerning Edom, the descendants of Esau, spoken by the Eternal, commander of heavenly armies. Eternal One says, what happened to the wise men of Teman? Has their insight failed them? Has their wisdom merely vanished into thin air? You who live in Dedan, run and hide deep in the caves, for I will bring a disaster on Esau's descendants when I come to punish him. When workers harvest the grapes, do they not leave some of the vine for those who are poor? Even when thieves enter your home in the middle of the night, do they not destroy and steal only what they need? But I will treat Esau's descendants differently. I will strip them bare, exposing their secret places, no place to hide. Their children, their families, and even their neighbors will die, and this nation will be no more. Leave your orphans to me, for I will protect them. Leave your widows as well, for they can trust me. This is what I, the Eternal, have to say. See? So we're going to take their orphans, orphan children, and their widows. That's going to be us, who's going to take their orphan children and widows. This is what I, the Eternal, have to say. If the innocent must drink of this cup of wrath, why do you think you should escape punishment? You will not escape, for you will surely drink from this cup. I swear by my own name, the Eternal, that Basra, Edom's capital, will become a wasteland, an object of horror, of scorn, and cursing. Edom's towns will forever lie in ruins. I've heard a message from the Eternal. An envoy was sent to the nations to say, assemble your troops to attack Edom. Rise up and prepare for battle. Okay, so that's what I just said earlier. They have been smearing the name of the Jewishers, the Khazarians, the Edomites. And Henry Kissinger said that Israel will be no more within 10 years. And everybody, you know, because, you know, they're pretty intelligent, you know, they're wise to do wicked. So they've been so wicked and sneaky and subtle. They are the most subtle serpent. They're the most subtle beast of the field. That old serpent, that red dragon, that old devil. Okay? So they done slithered their way all over everywhere and took power from all the dumbasses because they're dumb. They don't care about the Bible. They don't do any type of commandments, so they can't see anything that's about to happen to them. So they have given their authority over to Edom. Okay, so that's what happened. And now the envoy was sent to the nations to tell them, assemble your troops to attack Edom. Rise up and prepare for battle. That's why Satan enjoys Iran, because Iran wants nuclear weapons in order to wasteland and flatten Edom, as they're supposed to do. Okay, they're going to pay too. Iran's going to pay too. But they're being used like dummies because the Father utilizes dummies just as well as he utilizes the people who willingly follow him. But they utilize dummies in order to appease their lust for destruction and death. And the Father uses dummies to kill his enemies. Well, at one time, we were his enemy. So he used dummies to almost utterly destroy us. But we were not utterly destroyed because the Father wanted to spare a remnant in this time in order to use us against the dummies and get our authority back that Adam gave to the serpent, who was now called Edom. See that? Okay, so now once we have our authority back, we'll rule righteously and justly, and there won't be any more wars. The weapons are going to be beating the plowshares, and people are going to be farming and having a good time, enjoying themselves, instead of this old fake food that they feeding everybody now. That even Russia recognized, and all kinds of places have been recognizing that the fake food that they're sending all over the world is harming people's health. So Russia destroyed tons and tons of metric tons of food that came from the United States because these people are just too stupid to see that these megalomaniacs and damn psychotic motherfuckers like Monsanto and the Monsanto family doggone are destroying the food because they just want to kill everybody. But I guess they're afraid of people who like to kill like that. You can't be afraid of serial killers and murderers and genocidal, homicidal maniacs like that. You're supposed to take them out before they do what they doing. Big dummies. But they can't see it because they don't care nothing about the Bible. So they're just lollygagging and walking around doing the best they can. And then they don't even realize that all their thoughts are coming from the Father to do the stupid shit that they're doing for the benefit of the elect of Israel. 2/3 of Israel are dead meat. I'm not talking to you. Matter of fact, get off here. Turn the damn video off. Okay, Eternal One to Edom. Look, I will humiliate you among the nations, make you small and insignificant, despised by all. The terror you inspire in others and your ingrained arrogance have deceived you. You think you safe in your mountain hideaways? You hold the high ground above your enemies? You may build your fortress as high as an eagle's nest, but I can still bring you down from there. Edom will become an object of horror. All who pass by and see what I have done will shudder and grasp at all of his wounds, just as Sodom and Gomorrah. And all their neighbors were destroyed, never to rise again. I, the Eternal One, declare that no one will live there. No one will dare to make Edom their home. Like a lion that suddenly emerges from the dense undergrowth beside the Jordan to attack a flock feeding in the lush pasture. So in an instant, I will arrive and chase the people of Edom from their land. Then I will put in place a leader of my choosing. See that? He's going to place a leader there of his choice. For who is like me and who can challenge me? What shepherd can stand against me? See, you're going to have a shepherd that's sure enough serious, that understands what he's talking about, that knows what he's doing, understands how to utilize evil for the good of the elect of Israel. 2/3 get off my page. I told you that already one time. That is why you must hear the plan that the Eternal has for Edom and what he intends to do to those who live in the city of Teman. Eternal One. The little ones will be dragged away from the flock. All will scatter when the pasture is left desolate. The sound of Edom's fall will cause the earth to shake. Their anguished cry will echo to the Red Sea. Look, an eagle is rising, spreading its wings. Soon it will swoop down and attack Basra. On that day, the heart of Edom's warriors will be like the heart of a woman in labor, helpless and vulnerable. Here now is an oracle concerning Damascus. Eternal One. The towns of Hamath and Arpad are put to shame, for they have heard bad news. Doom is coming. They are distressed, troubled, and unsettled like the swirling sea. Damascus is weak and helpless. She is turned and run away. Panic grips her. Torment and pain have grabbed her, like a woman giving birth. The citizens of Damascus say, why is this glorious city, this city that gives us so much joy, not already deserted? Eternal One says, her young men will fall in the streets and her warriors will fall silent on that day. So says the Eternal Commander of Heavenly Armies. See how he co-signs what he says to make sure you know who's talking? The Eternal One says, I will set fire to the walls of Damascus, a fire that will spread and burn up the places of Ben-Hadad. Here's an oracle from the Eternal concerning Kedar and the nomadic tribes of Arabia known as the kingdoms of Hazar, all defeated by Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. Now, I just taught you, okay, here's an oracle from the Eternal concerning Kedar and the nomadic tribes of Arabia, known as the kingdoms of Hazar, all defeated by Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. Okay, so this is to tell you that Arabia is not Edom. I already told you dumb people that, but at the same time, it is Esau. It's Esau, but it's not referred to as Edom nowhere in the Bible ever. So this is the Esau Ishmaelite clan. An Arab is an Esau Ishmaelite, okay, who was also whitewashed to what they are today. Okay. Now, I just taught you that Satan is Nebuchadnezzar. Okay. Hopefully you remember who Satan is. He's the king of Babylon. This is the government that's on the whole earth and all that good stuff. So the Eternal One says, rise up and attack Kedar, destroy the tribes of the east. They will take away their tents and their flocks, their curtains and their camels, and all their possessions. They will shout to one another, terror is everywhere we turn! Run away quickly while there's time! Hide deep in the earth, people of Azar, for Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, has schemed against you. He has a plan for your defeat. So I tell you to rise up and attack this complacent nation, which assumes it is secure, a nation without walls or gates that lives alone in the desert. Oh man, their camels and livestock will be the spoils of war. I will scatter to the wind these people who cut the corners of their hair and surround them with disaster on every side. So I, the Eternal, declare. So I gave them a little bit too much speaking time. Let me read that again. Eternal One, rise up and attack Kedar, destroy the tribes of the east. They will take away their tents and their flocks, their curtains, their camels, and all their possessions. They will shout to one another, terror is everywhere we turn! Run away quickly while there's time. Hide deep in the earth, people of Azar, for Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, has schemed against you. He has a plan for your defeat. Nebuchadnezzar is Barack Hussein Obama. I told you this already. He is the king of Babylon, and I'm not playing. He is also Satan. He has a plan to defeat the Arabians, and these dummies have no earthly idea. Okay, so I tell you to rise up and attack this complacent nation, which assumes it is secure. A nation without walls or gates that lives alone in the desert. Their camels and livestock will be the spoils of war. I will scatter to the wind these people who cut the corners of their hair and surround them with disaster on every side. So I, the Eternal, declare, Hazar will become a haunt for jackals, a place of desolation for all time. Certainly no one will live there again, ever again. No one will make it its home. Here is an oracle concerning Elam. The word of the Eternal came to the prophet Jeremiah early in the reign of Zedekiah, king of Judah. This is what the Eternal Commander of Heavenly Armies has to say. Eternal One, I will break the bows of Elam's archers, the very best of their military might. I will bring the four winds from the four corners of heaven to blow against Elam. The four winds are four armies from all over everywhere against Elam. I will scatter them to the four winds. Okay. And there will not be a nation where her exiles will not go. They will go all over the world. I will shatter Elam right in front of her enemies. Before those who want her dead, I will bring disaster upon these people, for my violent anger burns against them. I will pursue them in war until they are no more. I will destroy her wicked king and officials and set the king I want on the throne over Elam. See that? See that? Israel is going to rule over the kingdom of Elam and their people, the subjects. We're going to rule the whole earth. And it's based on ruling over the bloodlines as the house, what I'm going to call it? The house of Emmanuel. You see, the house of Emmanuel Hamashiach of Nazareth. You see, the house of David, the supreme ruler of the earth. You see what I'm saying? The King of Kings. That's what we are. So we're the joint heirs with these people. So that's going to be one man ruling over all that, and then he's gonna have men up under him helping to govern that particular kingdom. That's how it's gonna be with every single bloodline. We're gonna rule everywhere. But even so, in the latter times, the day will come when I will restore the fortunes of Elam. So says the Eternal. Now, just like you're gonna the fortunes of Ammonites are gonna return, the fortunes of Elam gonna return. Now, how is that? How can you rule over them and return their fortunes when you don't have a fortune yourself? Where's your fortune at? And it's co-signed by the Eternal. So says the Eternal. See that? See that? He ain't playing no games. So now, where are your fortune at? How are these people getting fortunes back after you done beat them to death and rule over them? Where's the fortune coming from? I've been trying to tell you where it's coming from. It's coming from Solomon's resources that he gathered over his life, inherited from David, who inherited from his people, who inherited from Obed, who inherited it from Naomi's first husband, who inherited it from Abraham, who inherited it from Isaac, who inherited it from Joseph, who inherited it from Jacob, and all the other severely wealthy people in our family. We are the richest family on the face of the planet. That's why we can beat them down and give them back, their fortunes. Here you go. The fortune that you had originally before we beat you down. Here you go. You can have it back. Man, I mean, this is very simple information. But it seems as though these people think that we don't have to do nothing but follow the law. No, you have to prophesy as well. You have to do the prophecies. Okay, so you're going to see, anyway, you're going to see. Now, Jeremiah 50. This now is the word of the Eternal spoke through his prophet Jeremiah concerning the mighty empire of Babylon and the land of the Chaldeans. Okay, now when you talk about Babylon and the Chaldeans, this is not talking about the ancient Babylon and the Chaldeans, because this is Jeremiah the prophet. He's talking about a future time. You're talking about the Chaldeans, who are the Babylonians of today, who live a Babylonian mentality and behavior. Okay, thanks for knowing that. Okay. Eternal One, tell the nations of the world, announce it to them all. Who is he talking to? Let me find out right here. This is now the word of the Eternal spoken to Jeremiah. Okay. Jeremiah, he told Jeremiah to tell the nations of the world, announce it to them all, raise a flag, get their attention, tell them. Now, where's your flag? I don't see no flag of Israel. All I see is idols on top of cloths. All I see is images of things on the earth, or things in the heaven, or things in the sea on top of cloth. That's not a flag. That's an idol. So a flag would not have those symbols on them whatsoever at all. Now a menorah, yeah, I mean, what is that? A tree? No, it's a candlestick. A candlestick is not in the shape of a tree. A candlestick is in the shape of the candlestick in Revelations that talks about the churches, the 7 churches. Okay, and there's no Mr. Mizraimite who think you intelligent. It's not talking about chakras, not at all. We're not as dumb as you. We realize it's talking about real people doing real things, not some imaginary meditative force that you can meditate on your balls and make your balls more potent, make your sperm more potent. No, that's not what we're talking about, bro. I mean, you do have the power to do that, but that's not why the purpose of the 7 churches. It's not for the 7 chakras. Okay, so we're talking about 7 bodies of people, 7 organized people who are on one accord, 7 groups of people who are on one accord within their own group. Those are the 7 churches. So that's what you want. You either want that on your flag or you want nothing at all on your flag, like the Bible tells you to do. The Bible tells you to how to make the banner. It says to make the banner according to the 12 tribes and put the name of the 12 tribes on each representation of them. So we have a flag like that already. Get it, raise it up, get their attention, tell them, hold nothing back, spare not, cry aloud, spare not. Tell them, Babylon has fallen, Baal has been put to shame, Marduk has been shattered, her images are disgraced. There's nothing left of Babylon's idols but broken pieces. Okay, has this happened yet? There's idols everywhere. I can't go nowhere without looking at an idol. Okay, so this is nowhere near happened yet. Well, it's going to. The other prophecies happen, and this one's going to happen as well. But the only way it can happen is if we do it. We're the ones who do it. Israel, repentant Israel, the elect, are going to obey everything that it tells us to do in this Bible. Not you 2/3. Get out of here. I'm talking to the elect right now. Okay. Now it is Babylon's turn to be attacked from the north. Another nation will destroy her land. Now it is Babylon's turn to be attacked from the north. Another nation will destroy her land. No one will live there. Both man and beast will run away. But in those days of judgment, and when the time is right, I, the Eternal One, declare this: the people of Israel and those of Judah will come to me together with tears in their eyes, tears of joy, of course. They will come and seek the eternal, their God. They will ask about the way back to Zion and turn toward home. Okay, so when they come together, they're not at home. They're going to come together and ask about the way back to Zion and turn toward home. They will come together and bind themselves to the eternal in the lasting covenant that will never be forgotten. Okay, so the way back home is like, how do we get back home? We need to get back home. How do we do this? You know where it's at. We understand where the location is. We know which plane to get on to get to Zion. We're asking, how do we get back because we don't have the resources to get back together. The resources come from Solomon's inheritance. That's what's coming to us. Okay. So in the meantime, while you still sleep, the inheritance is being circumvented from us by the BRICS nations, the TPP agreement, the TTIP agreement. And if you resist them stealing your money, you're going to have to deal with indefinite incarceration or quite a few bullets in your whole body or in your head and all that. So I'm just saying, the reason we know the future is so that you can relax and chill the fuck out. We're not like the sleepwalkers. The sleepwalkers don't have a clue. So when the wind blows, they follow the wind. They're just little leaves and dust and stuff like that. And you know what I'm saying? They don't know nothing. So every little wind that blows, they go with the wind. Gone with the wind. Oh man, a dummy got shot. Oh, let's go outside and burn down the CVS and steal toilet paper. You fool. My people have become like lost sheep, and their shepherds have led them astray. Yeah, of course they did. We're talking about the shepherds. You know who the shepherds have been all this time. It's been the doggone, what's that boy name? Farrakhan. What's them other boys' name? Creflo Dollar and all the rest of them pastors, Christian pastors. Elijah Muhammad, Drew Ali. All these people have led you astray. You don't know it because you don't realize that you're an Israelite. If you'd have realized that you was an Israelite, you'd have studied the Bible and then you would have learned these basic things that we're talking about here. Okay, now they wandered so far from my protection on mountaintops and hills that they lost their way, worshiping false idols. The asteroid in Mecca, which is Drew Ali, Farrakhan, Elijah Muhammad, and Wali Dad Muhammad. They worshiping a doggone meteorite in Mecca. They bow down to it. They kiss it. They worshiping it. That's Allah to them. That's extremely stupid. And it pisses the Father off. You also bow down to crosses. You bow down to white Jesus, like in Plies' new video, who's praying to a 3-foot giant white Jesus that don't exist. That don't exist in real life. Jesus is not white. I got fussed out by a Christian today who told me I've seen Jesus before and he looked just like the man in Passion of Christ. Man, that was a dream. If he looked exactly like the dude in the Passion of Christ, you had a dream. And it wasn't real. The Bible clearly says that Hamashiach has the body of Beryl. Beryl is extremely black. It says he has the feet of bronze. That was burned in a furnace. That's extremely black. So stop playing with me talking about you seeing Jesus and he looks exactly like the dude on the Passion of Christ. Come on, man. Oh my gosh. Forgetting where I was and where they could find rest. And whoever found my lost sheep devoured them. That's what these people did. That's what the pastors did. They took all their bread. That's what the Farrakhan does. He takes all their bread. That's what Drew Ali did. He took all their bread. That's what your boy, what's your boy name? All them guys. That's all they do is just take all their time and energy to study and worship the exact wrong thing. So you have been devoured. You need to drink some coffee. I'm giving you some coffee right now. Their enemies said to themselves, why worry? We're not the guilty ones here. They're the ones who sinned against their God, the eternal one, their place of safety, the eternal one, the hope of their ancestors. Okay, so they got a point, but you still gonna pay. Because, you know what I'm saying, that's just what's going to happen because you don't believe in God at all. Why ain't you worshiping the God of our ancestors? Why are you oppressing the people, his people? So don't come over here talking about you ain't guilty. You guilty. And you're going to die. Get out of Babylon while you can. Leave behind this land of the Chaldeans. Be like the goats at the head of the flock. Lead the way home. For I am stirring up trouble against Babylon. I am bringing together the armies of great nations to attack Babylon from the north. They will draw up their battle plans and march against her. The arrows of this army will be like those of skilled marksmen. They will not miss the target or come home empty-handed. Chaldea will be plundered. All her conquerors shall have their fill in the land's wealth. This is what the Eternal declares. See, cosign. See how they work? The Eternal One to Babylon. Because of your treatment of my people Israel, because you rejoice and celebrate as you plunder my heritage Israel, Because you dance about like a heifer, roaming the grassland, and neigh like a stallion as you plunder them, Israel, your homeland will be put to shame. She who gave you life will be disgraced. She will become the least of all nations, nothing but a patch of wilderness, a dry and dusty patch of land, a barren desert. Because of my anger, no one will live there. She will be a desolate wasteland. All who pass by Babylon and see what I, the Eternal, have done will shudder and gasp at her many deep wounds. To Babylon's enemies, go ahead, prepare for battle. Take your positions, surround Babylon on every side, all you archers. Shoot at her, show no mercy, spare no arrows, for she has sinned against the Eternal. Shout your battle cries on every side. She has already given up. Her towers have fallen. Her walls have crumbled. Since this is my vengeance, the justice of the Eternal, do not hold back. Take vengeance on her. Do to her what she's done to others. Uproot from Babylon those who plant crops and those who harvest with the sickle. Let's see that? You see what's gonna happen to your boy, what's that dude name? Let me see what's gonna happen to the farmers. Put it like that. Farmers, they're still sitting here. Now, you really think you're gonna survive these boys' arrows? They just said they're not gonna miss. He said he's not gonna come home empty-handed. Okay. What's that boy name? Pastor Dow, the farmer. Uproot from Babylon those who plant crops and those who harvest with the sickle. When they see the flash from the enemy sword, everyone will run away. Everyone will go back to his homeland, his own land. Okay, which is Israel. Tell a rod. Okay, so see, it's a balance in the timing that when you have to make that move though, because the Father's gonna bless you with the money to go. Because right now, you don't got no money. And you trying to go there too early because you done. It ain't time to go back yet. Whenever you get some money, then we're going to go back. We're going to gather together, ask how to get back home, get the money, and then go back home. That's the order. And that's all the Father deals with is proper order. Israel is like a frightened flock scattered by the lions who hunt them. The first to attack and devour them was the king of Assyria, and the last to chew on their remains was Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. Okay, so that's who we're under now. That's the last one to chew on us. Okay, because certainly the original Nebuchadnezzar wasn't the last one to chew on us if you have any type of brains in your head. So we're talking about, all right, anyway. For this reason, I, the eternal commander of heavenly armies and God of Israel, whose God is it? Why does anybody else think it's their God? You're confusing yourself. You're wasting your time. Promise this. Just as I punished the king of Assyria for the way he treated you, so will I punish the king of Babylon of his land. But you, Israel, I will bring back to your own pasture. Once again, you will graze in the lush fields of Carmel and Bashan. Your hunger will be no more. You will fill yourself on the hills of Ephraim and Gilead. And in those days when the time is right, see that? When the see that actually right? See that? You see that? You see that? Let me make this real big for you, because I don't think you understand what I'm saying here. I think you're still confused a little bit. Is you confused? Are you confused? That's my question. Do you see this? And in those days when the time is right, you can't go individually because you got had a good slave job and bought you a ticket over there. You have to gather together. Once you gather together in proper form, with your fringes on and all that good stuff, you got your bells and your pomegranates on, you got the flag up high, you're going to tell the nations at the UN, give me the money. They're going to give you enough money to get home. Then they're going to hog the rest of the money. And then the Father's going to destroy all of them and give us the money. It's very clear. It's clear. If the Bible reads very clear, it's not very, it don't sound confusing to me. I thank the Father for giving me these type of ears so I can hear what it's saying. And in those days when the time is right, not just whenever you feel like going and leaving everybody else for dead, talking about fuck everybody, anybody who's broke, they just gonna have to fend for themselves, right? Wrong. Man, I done told you that Israel's gonna be kibbles and bits before we can go back home, man. Oh man. But he promises this. Now, if anyone searches for even a trace of Israel's wrongdoings, they'll find nothing. If they look for the sins of Judah, none will be found, because I will have forgiven this remnant of my people. You see that? Now, how is that even possible? All of us have records. All the men have felonies. All the men have misdemeanors. Hell, some of the women got felonies and misdemeanors. So when you see this, it means that whenever we come together in our proper form, in our proper gear, and our proper actions, and how we done got our government together and then, you know what I'm saying, appointed a leader over ourselves and this, that, and the third, right? We're going to go in front of the nation, the United Nations, and we're going to tell them we are mature. We got to act together. We're going to accuse the nations of 2,700 years of oppression in extreme detail, complete with testimonies and video and all that stuff. They can't deny it. That means that all of our sins are going to be wiped away in their minds. We're going to be given presidential pardons all over the world. Sins are forgiven. Now, don't forget that you live in a governmental structure. Okay, so the same way that we live in a satanic governmental structure, we're going to be a government, a holy government, a nation of kings and priests. And we're going to have a government, and people are going to be prepared in their positions to rule certain places. We're going to already figure out who's going to rule the Edomites. We're already going to figure out who's going to rule the Ammonites by the time this happens. You have to come together and talk, but it has to have a discussion. A dialogue has to happen in order for these things to take place. And people have to be strict on the law. But they also have to perform the rest of these prophecies here. Okay, now to Babylon's enemies. Go up and attack the land of Marathon and those who lived in Pekod. Slay all of them. Completely destroy them. Now, don't disobey like our ancestors did and leave people alive. Try not to do that this time, okay? This is the Babylon's enemies. Go. Oh, so he's not talking to Israel. Okay, he's talking to Babylon's enemies. Okay, go up and attack the land of Marathon and those who live in Pekod. Okay, I got to find out where those places are. I'm sorry, I don't know where these are. Slay them all, completely destroy them. Do everything I, the Eternal One, have commanded you. The sounds of war can be heard in the land. Anguish cries of great destruction. That hammer who pounded the nations of the earth now lies broken and pounded into pieces herself. Okay, now the hammer is that stupid ass hammer that they got in the courtrooms that they fashioned after the Thor hammer. That's the type of law that they use, is the Thor law and Odin law. They think they're as God. No, the Israelites are as God. You take you be you 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 want to be everybody on earth, especially the Israelites. You are no people. You're nothing. That's why I'm speaking so boldly against you, because there's nothing that can happen that you can do to me, because the Father protects those who are obedient to him, and I ain't doing nothing but telling you and prophesying exactly what is going to happen based on the Father, reading it straight directly out the Bible. So I don't get scared. You know what I'm saying? The Father, I'm only afraid that you make sure the Father don't kill me. Okay. Nations of the earth lied and peak and pounded into pieces herself. Mighty Babylon, how have you become a whore to the watching world? I set a trap for you, O Babylon, and you fell for it. Before you realized what had happened, you were discovered and captured because you dared to fight against the Eternal. Who's the Eternal? The joint heirs. You fighting against the Israelites, the apple of his eye. What would make you think you can get away with such a thing? It doesn't. Your part of what you were supposed to do to punish us is over. The time is already up. You've passed. You're about to come up to the time that you can no longer have possession over us. But up until the last second, you're just gonna keep beating us down. You're retarded. You better listen to Karen Hudez and stop trying to kill everybody on earth, especially Israelites. You know who we are already. So stop acting like you don't. Yes, the Eternal has opened his armory, unleashed the weapons of his wrath. For the Eternal Lord, commander of heavenly armies, plural. So not just Israel, but anything he chooses, any people he chooses to use as an army, he does it. He uses it. Is at work in the land of the Chaldeans. Come against her from far away and on every side. Break upon her storehouses. Crush her cities and leave her dead in piles, like so much grain. They're not going to be buried. They're just going to be left dead on the street. Destroy her completely. Let nothing survive. Let her young bulls die by the sword. Let them all be slaughtered. Woe to each of them, for their day of punishment has come. Hear the clamor of refugees and fugitives, fresh from the land of Babylon. Okay, so that's, could be, you got all these different peoples from all over the world live here and live, in Europe. So that's Babylon and Australia and, the BRICS and everywhere else. So that's what Babylon is. It's wherever they have set up their rulership over the people of Israel. So they're going to be refugees from all over the world and fugitives. So that's what they are. They arrive in Zion to announce how the Eternal, our God, has paid Babylon back for what she did to his people and his temple. See that? The refugees and fugitives are going to go to our homeland and tell us, oh, Babylon's been destroyed. We know. We watch the news. We're much smarter than you. You're telling us something we already know. Call up the archers to attack Babylon. Surround her on all sides so no one can escape. Repay her for her horrible deeds. Do to her what she has done to others, because she has proudly defied the Eternal, the Holy One of Israel. The Eternal declares that her young men will fall in the streets, and all her soldiers will fall silent on that day. The Eternal One says, see, I am against you, O private one. Talking about Babylon. I, the Eternal Lord, commander of heavenly armies, declare that your time has come. I will now punish you for all you've done. In your pride, you will stumble and fall, and no one will help you up. I will set fire to your cities and towns. and it will devour everything around you. This is what the eternal commander of heavenly armies says about Israel. The eternal one says about Israel, the people of Israel are oppressed. We are oppressed. So to the people of Judah, so also are the people of Judah oppressed. All those who took them captive continue to hold them, refuse to let them go. That's what they do. But their Redeemer is strong. The eternal commander of heavenly armies is his name. He will take their side and defend their cause, and he will give them rest in their own land. But he will shake the earth beneath the citizens of Babylon. You see that? Because when the Yellowstone National Park blows sky high, it's gonna be the lake of fire. There ain't gonna be nothing left of this place. So we're gonna gather together and leave when the time is right. He promises. The Eternal One says, I will send a sword against the Chaldeans, against the citizens of Babylon herself, against her leaders and wise men. I will send a sword against her diviners. They will be exposed as fools. A fool in his heart says there is no God. They're going to be exposed as atheists. Atheists is going to be exposed. You already exposed yourself in your pride and arrogance. I will send a sword against her mighty warriors. They will be paralyzed with terror. I will send a sword against her war horses and chariots. See, these ain't horses, animals. These aren't old rickety wheeled chariots. These are modern weapons. See that? I know you got to be able to see that at least. And all the foreign troops fighting alongside her, they will all become weak like women. I will send a sword against her treasures. They will all be plundered. I will send a drought against her water supplies. They will all dry up, because this is a land filled with images. These are idols. See that? This land, that's why I say everywhere I go, all I see is idols. Get them out of here. And the people are madly devoted to their idols. The flag, the American flag is an idol. You see these people picking up their guns, trying to kill black people for trying to put down these stupid ass idols. And we tell them you got idols up everywhere and we tired of looking at them. That's why you about to die. You're gonna die. That's all, you're gonna die. That's all there is to it. So the beasts of the desert will roam this land. Jackals and ostriches will make it their homes. I'm gonna come over here and hunt me some jackals and ostriches sometimes. That sounds fun. But never again will it be home to people. From generation to generation, no one will live there. As God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah and all of their neighbors, so does the Eternal declare that no one will live in the land of Babylon. No one will make his home there. Who would want to live here? It's going to be nothing. It's going to be utterly wasted. The Eternal One says, look in the distance and you will see an army marching toward you out of the north. A nation of many kings whose size and might you can't imagine is now awakening and coming from the remote parts of the earth. That's one I told you about this way back in December of 2014. I already told you about it. If you don't remember, I'll remind you. But it's you got all these nations. Mainly, it's what it is the revival of the Caliphate, the Ottoman Empire. Okay, so when the Roman Empire revitalized, they kind of took over the earth and oppressed their partner, who was all the Arab nations in the Ottoman Empire. So the Ottoman Empire has revived and revigorated itself, including China and Russia. They're also mostly Islamic. So You know, the army is going to be so vast you can't even imagine. Okay, okay. Now they're armed with bows and spears. We're not talking about what you thinking. We're talking about some modern weapons. Okay, their hearts are cruel and will show you no mercy. You sound, I mean, the sound of their massive army riding in on their horses is like the sound of an angry sea. They are ready for battle, marching in formation, coming to destroy you, O daughter of Babylon. The king of Babylon has received the news about them, and his hands fall to his side, weak and helpless. Distress has gripped him so, like a woman in the agony of giving birth. See that? Who's the king of Babylon? I just told you it's Nebuchadnezzar. Who's Nebuchadnezzar? I just told you it's Barack Hussein Obama. Who's Barack Hussein Obama? I just told you his name is Satan. Who's Satan? I just told you. I've seen Satan as if he was lightning that fall from heaven. That's Barack Obama's name. You don't speak Hebrew, neither do I, but I know that much. Like a lion that suddenly emerges from the dense undergrowth beside the Jordan to attack a flock feeding in the lush pasture. So in an instant, I will arrive and chase Babylon from her land. Then I will put in place a leader of my choosing. He's not going to choose a leader from the caliphate to rule over Babylon. First of all, ain't nobody even going to be living here. He's talking about the survivors of these dead people that's already dead right now, walking around like zombies. The survivors are going to be ruled by a leader of his choosing. For me, for who is like me and who can challenge me? What shepherd can stand against me? He's talking about a leader from Israel, man. We're going to be ruling the Babylonians, the Elamites, and the Ammonites, and every other bloodline. That is why you must hear the plan that the Eternal has for Babylon and what he intends to do to those who live in the land of the Chaldeans. The little ones will be dragged away from the flock. He will leave their pasture desolate. The sound of Babylon falling will cause the earth to shake. Her cry will echo among the nations. See that? That's what I try to tell you people. But you don't want to listen. It's all good though. Somebody gonna wake you up sooner or later. It's either gonna be the guns and the bombs, the nuclear missiles, or it's gonna be doggone when them boys kick in your door and take your family out your house, and they're gonna line them up in your front yard and shoot you all in the back of the head, real hard. Now, if you look at this here, Hosea 1:11. The people of Judah and the people of Israel will return from exile and gather together as one nation. You see what that said? The people of Judah and the people of Israel. Those are two separate nations that are now one nation. Okay? They're one stick. There were one nation that separated into two nations and now come back to as one nation. Oh, man. Will return from exile and gather together as one nation again. See? They were not one nation before. And now they're going to be one nation again. And they'll agree on only one leader for all of them. Okay, so you're not my leader. That's why I be trying to tell you, General Yohana. That's why I be trying to tell you, Elder Ricard. That's why I be trying to tell you, Elder Tahar. That's why I be trying to tell you, to Tazadakia. See what I'm saying? That's what I be trying to tell you, Bishop Eddie Long. What's that dude's name? Hold on. Elder Nathaniel. You know what I'm saying? I be trying to tell you people, you're not my leader. So stop asking me to join your groups. You got to go through an election process where the people of Israel are going to appoint a leader over us. You can't make yourself leader and tell me that you're the only camp that's going to survive, because you don't even know what to do to survive. All you're going to do is fight. You don't even know how to deal with these prophecies that I'm laying out here. You got to go to the United Nations all together. You got to tell them what the business is. You got to accuse them so that they recuse us. And doggone give us presidential pardons and enough money to get home. They're going to try to hog the rest of the money, and then they're going to be destroyed. It's common sense. You can't go to Israel by yourself and leave everybody else here to die. It don't make any sense. So, Elder Ricard, you need to get on the first plane back to the United States right now. You need to get here together. We need to gather together in the Day of Atonement and talk to the people like we need to talk to them. Stop playing games. And they'll agree on one leader, on only one leader for all of them. Every awakened Israelite has many different leaders for many different camps. IUIG got a leader. Every camp has a leader, but we're gonna agree on one leader over all of us. I nominate Tazadaki. That's my nominee. Now, it will be a great day when they go up from the land of Jezreel. Is a reality. The land of retribution. Okay, it will be a great day when they go up from the land of Jezreel is a reality. Go up from the land, and their recompense and retribution is a reality. They left Jezreel in there for no reason, basically. Okay, so now I want to talk about Matthew. I want you to get a little clarity on this stuff so that you won't be sitting there twiddling your thumbs talking about the Father is going to come to your house personally, over your house, and pick you up yourself, you only. Or you're going to buy a plane ticket, go over there to Telluride, get DNA tested, and they're going to compare your DNA to white Jewishers. It's not going to match up, and then they're going to say you can't come into the country, or you're going to have to be isolated over here and be treated like shit until Israel blows up. You're dumb. Do it the right in order, in the right way. You can't skip around. You can't go from, okay, in the beginning we created Adam. In the end, you're home. And close up the book of Revelation. It don't work that way, bro. You got to do the words that's in the book. That's why the atheists and stuff try so hard to fight against us to not do the words that's in the book, because they know they're fake. See what I'm saying? They think it's all fantasy, but the puppet masters who put that thought in their head know that it's real because they know they're fake. It's over for them. So the only way to prevent their fate is to convince every Israelite on earth that they're not Israelites and don't listen to the book and burn the book and forget about the book. Don't do the book. Don't perform the acts. Don't do the book at all. So we can live and continue to oppress you. You can continue to be our slave, please. It does not work that way. I apologize. Don't work that way. Matthew 9:37. Jesus understood what an awesome task was before him. So he said to his disciples, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Okay. That's what it is. You sitting there listening to me instead of reading the book and doing the words that's in the book. And I got to sit here and yell at you and convince you that this is true and that you got to do everything that's in the book. You need to read the prophets over and over and over and over and over. And you need to read the prophets over and over. You need to read the prophets over and over and over and over and over again until you figure out what to do. Because when the Father tells us to do something, you need to hurry up and do it. The time is getting short. I'm trying to tell you, okay. Well, let me go up here to Obadiah, since you don't believe me. since you don't believe me, maybe you'll believe the book. And I know plenty of Israelites who don't believe the book whatsoever. They just go by their own imaginations of God and say, well, I'm the man, I know God because I just do whatever I want to do. And it's working out for me, so forget everybody else. No, man, it's a community. You got to be you got to serve better than everybody else in the world in order to make this thing happen. We got to be better than them in every way. Obadiah 10 through 14 through 15. Because of your violent history against your brother Jacob, shame will envelop you, and your nation will be destroyed forever. You just stood there doing nothing while strangers ransacked their city. See, that's what I'm just trying to tell you, right? They just stood there doing nothing while strangers ransacked their city. Now, dummies don't realize that Idumea is the Greek word for Edom. So Edomites was all up and through Israel during the time of Hamashiach and during the time of the Roman invasion. And they just stood there doing nothing while strangers ransacked the city. Now that I made that clear, while invaders rushed through the gates and divided up Jerusalem for themselves, you might as well have been one of them. You should never have gloated over your brother's tragedy that day or been secretly happy about all that their misfortune. You should never have celebrated the people of Judah's decimation. You should never have acted so arrogantly on that day, on the day they suffered so much. You should never have walked through the city gates of my people on the day of this disaster. You should never have gloated at their difficulties on the day of this disaster. You should never have taken advantage of them and their wealth on the day of this disaster. You should never have lain in wait along the crossroads to cut off those trying to escape. You should never have handed over the handful of survivors to Babylonian captivity on the day of their great distress. I done told you, people. The day of the Eternal's judgment for all the nations is near. Whatever evil you have done will be done to you. Your deeds will come crashing back on your head. And who's going to do that? I'm getting ready to show you right now. Calm down. You're so impatient. The Father's going to do that. It says it right here. But on Mount Zion will be a place of safety. Some will escape to that holy mountain, and the people of Jacob will conquer. 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 The people of Jacob will conquer and possess those who conquered and dispossessed them. Dispossess them. Do you understand that? I don't think you pay attention very closely. Let me run it back for you, because you don't seem to get it. I'm making it painfully clear that Israel has to do things other than keep the law. You have to also do the prophecies. You have to act out the prophecies. You have to do them. You have to prepare slaughter. You got to prepare slaughter for the iniquities of their fathers. Because of your violent history against your brother Jacob, because of that, the people of Jacob will conquer and possess those who conquered and dispossessed them. When the last time you conquered somebody? Tell me. Go ahead. I'll wait. You ain't never did it. Stop lying. I know you're trying to think of a lie right now. I'm going to show you something else. Since you don't believe me, maybe you'll believe the Bible. You might. I doubt it, but you're going to have to do these things. If you don't do them, it ain't going to work for you. It ain't going to work too good for you. Now, Jeremiah 51, 5 and 6. For Israel and Judah have not been forsaken by their God, the Eternal One, commander of heavenly armies. Even though their land is awash with the guilt of their sins against the Holy One of Israel. Get out of Babylon. Escape with your lives. Do not be caught up in Babylon's punishment. For this is the time of the Eternal to avenge his people. He will pay Babylon what she deserves. See that? That don't make sense to you? Okay. Let me go. Let me look at this other one then, since that don't make no sense to you. Okay. Since you don't realize you're supposed to come together on Atonement Day, on the Day of Atonement, and decide how and then accuse the nations so they can give us presidential pardons so we can get the hell out of Dodge and give us our money, just enough money to get home, so that the other countries can come in here and destroy everything, including the sleep 2/3 zombie sleepwalking dumbass black people. That's why GMS say, I'm gonna kill your black mamas, I'm gonna kill your black babies and stuff like that. They're not gonna be doing nothing. The motherfucking armies that's surrounding Babylon is gonna be the ones killing them. You ain't smart enough to figure this stuff out. Jeremiah 51:8. But now Babylon, cup of God's wrath, has fallen and shattered. Weep for her if you can. Give her something for her pain. Perhaps she may still be healed. Okay, so because we're not like them. So we're going to still, try to give them, even though you're being destroyed, here, let me help you out. So we're going to be, trying to doggone, be like nurses for them while they're being pure killed. And they're going to die. Jeremiah 51:19-20. The portion of Jacob is not like any of these. He was not fashioned by human hands. Instead, it was he who made all things and appointed Israel to inherit it all. His name is the Eternal, commander of heavenly armies. The Eternal One says, you are my war club, my weapon for battle. With you, I shatter nations. With you, I destroy kingdoms. So, that's what I'm trying to tell you. You're not going to be fighting that non-Israelite because you're not smart enough to do so, because a nation divided is going to fall. So the dumbass sleep Israelites like the fruit of Islam that's going to be fighting against America alongside of ISIS and the whole caliphate of the Middle East Caliphate and the Arabian Caliphate and China and Russia come over here and destroy the fruit of Islam. Gonna be sitting right there with them, destroying too, and they're gonna be happy about it. That's cool, okay, that's fine, that's great. But at the same time, you ain't doing nothing. You wasting your time because you gonna die too. Okay, so I think that might be a good place to stop. Alrighty. I just wanted to make it clear, where the gold is, and that we have to claim it. We have to come together and express the allegations we have for the kingdoms. Because you're talking to the tail. That's all you're doing is talking to the tail. The tail is much, much more powerful than the head. You got people everywhere in the United States and Great Britain and all over the world. You know what I'm saying? You steady talking to some dumbass dude over here can't do a damn thing. He can't do shit. That's why it says the kings and queens will be your nursing mothers and nursing fathers. because the kings and queens are the ones who we're going to accuse. We're going to get in their faces and accuse them to their face. But we got to gather together first, accuse them to their face. They exonerate us from all the psychological problems we have in this country, which causes us to be criminals and things like that, and destitute and poor. And we're going to get enough money to go back home. The ships of Tarshish, who are the ships of Spain, are going to come pick us up and take us over there. We're already in the wilderness, dick face. This is the wilderness. Let me show you that, because I know you don't believe it. You don't never believe nothing I say. Oh, man. I know I'm lying, but I'm not the one lying, because it's the Bible that you think is lying. Okay, so let me look it up in blue letter first for you. It's very simple information. But you know, you rather deal with the magician who's the leader of your camp. That's what you rather do. Deal with hypnosis and magic and allow people to ridicule their own brothers and stuff like this right here. Well, that's what I did too, but they are being wicked by telling you to stay dumb instead of performing the prophecies. Okay, let me see, what am I looking up here? Wings. Dookie dookie. Okay, and to the woman who is Israel, were given 2 wings of a great eagle. The eagle has landed, so we know who the eagle is. The eagle is the doggone Babylon, the whole Babylonian system. Okay, so we were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. So let Elder dumbass Bishop what's his name, Bishop Nathaniel, keep telling you that you're getting nourished by the face of the serpent. The face of the serpent is nourishing you. No, you went into the wilderness to be nourished away from the face of the serpent, who is the papacy. Dick face. Okay. All right, now, so we're in the wilderness now. All right. That's the end of this this section, because you people ain't gonna listen to nothing I say anyway. But I really enjoyed teaching that, and maybe one person will team up with me. All right, so my name is Nazir Devah Emiel Yasharal. You call me Devah Emiel Oz, DAVAHEMIELOZ. Call me by my nickname word if you want to. You know what I'm saying? That's what I like to be called. I'm the keyboard warrior. I know what the Bible's talking about. I know what it tells you to do. You need to do it.